Hey guys, I just want to make a short video about, I made one the other week I should say, about Durianrider and promoting this vasectomy stuff as a way of helping the orphans, which is not a word I like, or the children without parents on the planet. Now, the thing is, I make this very clear, I have massive respect for Durianrider, I really do, because he is one of the huge names in veganism. And he has brought the vegan message to thousands of people. He and his ex have done that. And I have huge respect for that. But I also remember that he said once that one of the reasons he opened a YouTube channel was he was watching a vegan personality. I can't remember which one of these dodgy ones who were always smoking weed and stuff. And he said they were unwrapping plastic and throwing it down on the street, so the message wasn't really like sincere. So this is why he made his first YouTube video, because he was annoyed and frustrated about that. So just as you see a message that's not sincere because they're only doing half of what's needed, I thought I'd try and educate you a little bit about the reality of the orphan situation on the planet. I think I'm in some way qualified to speak about that because I'm here now in Feathersdale Children's Village, which I've built over the last 2.5 years. And we provide full-time guardianship for 49 children, who most of which don't have parents. Some have parents but are disabled, so the parents couldn't cope. Others were taken from their parents by social welfare. So most of which, though, have no guardian or no living relatives to care for them. On top of that, we have a children's fund called the Uchira Children's Fund, and it supports over 650 children who don't have parents. It supports them out in the community with host families. It ensures that the children get full-time education, medical care, nutritional support, and housing and amenities like a mattress to sleep on or solar lights so they can do their homework and stuff like this, which is important for education. So I have some experience in this. I understand the position with children without parents on the planet. Many of these children now call me father. Now, I'm not about to say you need to go out and adopt, because I'm not about that. If he's made it clear he's not the sort of person who wants to have children of his own. I always wanted to be a father, so I feel blessed to be in the position I'm in now. But what I will say is that telling people to go out and get a vasectomy to tackle the problem is just the same as a vegan using lots of plastic, which spurred you into doing that. It's a half-hearted message. It's the same as saying I want to protect the environment, driving a Prius and eating beef burgers every day. It doesn't wash. It's just nonsense. We all know this. It's no different to eating meat and standing at a fracking protest. It's nonsense. It doesn't solve the problem at hand. It's half-baked, but it's still a step in the right direction. So for sure, maybe for you, this is what you need to do, and it's a step in the right direction for you. But one of the problems I have with that is, you could educate much further, and it gets to the point where I've had young men contact me on YouTube asking me about it, which is why I made the first video. They were ready to go and get this done, and these are young guys, and you shouldn't influence them in a negative way to cut themselves with something that might be irreversible. If it's about tapping into that part of us that wants to help these children, then maybe I can educate you a little bit on how to really help, instead of risking young men's opportunities to be a father later in life when they are perhaps thinking better for themselves or not going to be as heavily influenced by what someone's saying. So, here in Tanzania, to educate a child will bring down the issues with having huge families and overpopulation. Most children who are not educated, and most people who are not educated, they aim to have 5 or 6 children. They do that because it's their retirement package. They know that when you get old, no one's going to feed you here. Some people literally die of hunger because they are old and they can't work anymore. This happens, and it's a slow and horrible way to go. But it happens. This is the reality of the developing world. Now, they are third world problems, and I'm speaking to a first world audience, but you can do stuff to change this. Now, educating a child can cost $3 a week. And an educated child is likely to have a smaller family instead of a huge family. That is going to have a huge impact, environmentally speaking, over someone cutting themselves. You can combine the two if you want, that's great, but all I'm saying is if you truly want to tackle the problem, educate your audience correctly on how to do it. So you can do that, like I say, $3 a week. you're going to educate a child and it'll reduce the risk of that. The other thing is health. Now, if you come and help these developing nations and you make sure the places are sanitary, clean water, etc., you bring down the death rate. This also in turn brings down the large families. Bill Gates famously said in a speech about vaccinations that he'll get population down by doing a vaccination program. Everyone, conspiracy theorists, went mad saying he's trying to kill people with vaccines, but what it means is, and how it works in developing countries, if people see that lots of people are not dying all the time, they don't feel a necessity to produce huge families as a retirement package for them. They know that having 2 children, if most people are having 7 children and all 7 are dying, then people tend to have large families. If you have 7 children and they all live, eventually in a few decades people will be happy to have a smaller family, a family of 1 child, 2 children, as they do in the Western nations as well. This is just a reality of how the psychology of people work here. They have large families for that reason. I have grandmothers inside our feeding outreach, our food outreach, which have had all of their children die, all 7 children die, and they're now left with the grandchildren of those children, which are like 12, 13 children, sometimes more. So you can see the issues that go on there, but these children, if we educate them and show them that everyone's going to die, you can get them to understand they can have a small family and they don't need to worry about that. Also, if they're educated, they'll have a retirement plan for themselves because they'll have found a way to generate income or to have better farming practices through modern techniques like permaculture, so they have enough food to sustain themselves and to sell extra to prepare for retirement, etc. On top of that, here at Featherstail, this is an off-the-grid community, as I say. We survive solely on solar power. We are harvesting rainwater to some degree, but not fully. We do still have piped water, so we're not fully off the grid for that yet. And all of the residents here eat a vegan diet, so that is a huge environmental impact. And the thing is, I'm not some millionaire who came here and did this. I'm a guy with a laptop, from a working class guy from the northeast of England, from a little village with a laptop. I'm a little different to someone like Durianrider, because I have a strong relationship with God and I have a lot of faith with that, so I pray more than I'd imagine. I don't know if he even does pray, but I've heard him say Kundalini's wishy-washy, etc. But if you watch my esoteric videos, etc., you'll understand my thoughts on this. However, that aside, I came here with a laptop computer, I came here with a camera, and I came here with a very small amount of savings, around about $10,000 or something along these lines. They were gone within 6 months, and I opened a Facebook page. From there, we now support, as I say, thousands of people. And we also have a huge environmental impact by having all the children living here as they do, and also reducing the chances of those nearly 700 children altogether having huge families when they get older. Now, if I can do that as one guy, I also have an animal rescue with 56 dogs as well, so we help out the animals here too. If I can do that as one guy who literally rocked up with very little money, a laptop and an idea, and opened a Facebook and a small YouTube, then, everyone can do it, quite simply. And I have a blueprint for it. I'm quite happy to share it if people don't want to go through the rigmarole of working it out, and I can share that. But the solutions are plentiful, and the solutions are there, and they exist way beyond just snipping yourself, guys. So if you're thinking about snipping yourself for the sake of helping the children without parents on the planet, there is much more you can do without doing that to yourself. And to do it takes a little bit of hard work. But I mean, if you care about the environment and you're only going to drive a Prius and eat beef burgers, every vegan would call you a hypocrite. It's a waste of time. I mean, what's the point in doing it half-baked? Same as DR started his videos because a vegan was throwing plastic on the floor, and it appalled him. To someone who's caring for children without parents, to hear people saying that the best thing they're going to manage to do is cut themselves so they can have lots of sex without creating a child, it's kind of half-baked. Let's get into the message properly. Let's get into the problem properly. Let's get out there and help. If you're a part of the vegan community and you're looking at ways to help children like that, get in touch. I'll either direct you in ways that you can help, or you can come here and help us. We need it. We have 20-something disabled children in our care. We always need extra pair of hands around here. And the children need it. The children need it, and that's the important thing. And those guys out there who are debating, just snipping themselves, cool, if you want to do that, that's fine. But if you'd seen the things that I'd seen over these years, you'd get on a plane and you'd come if you truly were bothered so deeply about the orphan situation, or the children without parents, as I prefer to say. you would get on a plane and you would come and you would do something, because these kids suffer, man. They are working in quarries sometimes from the age of 7-year-old, doing the thing that Nelson Mandela did on Rowan Island as a punishment, where you're breaking huge rocks into gravel. They're just doing it so they can eat ugali, flour and water every day with a little bit of beans or local greens, etc. And it's just horrible to see children so broken like they are because of this. And if you really care and you really want to do something, you can. And I'm happy to open myself up and help people on how to do it. I'm happy to give you pointers and direction, or I'm also happy to share you the blueprint of how I did it. And literally, less than 3 years, from nothing to 650 children supported with education and 49 in our care, and a village called Featherstail Children's Village, which is off the grid, which has 56 rescue dogs and 49 children, many of which are disabled, and a centre for boys who are living on the street and were involved with drugs, etc., and can't live here with the disabled children. There are ways to do it, guys, and there are stronger ways if you truly care than snipping yourself. If that's the route for you, no offence, feel free, go for it. But there are young guys out there asking me about it, so people are not sure. If you truly want to help and you truly have an issue with the amount of children without parents on the planet, come and help, guys. That's the way to do it. Don't just drive your Prius and keep eating a hamburger, yeah? Don't do it. Just come and do it. Come and do it fully. Don't just give a little bit. Give as much as you can if you care about a cause. So, much love, guys. Bye.